Hi, I'm Mr. Connect. On November 11th, people all over the United States celebrate Veterans Day. But what exactly is a veteran, and why do we honor them? A veteran is a person who served in the active military, naval, or air service, and who was discharged or released under honorable conditions. These men and women, these patriots, have sacrificed a portion of their lives to defend the freedom we have today. Veterans Day is a day set aside for honoring those who served our country, whether in combat or a supporting role. We are proud and honored to have some of our United States military veterans at Tremper High School. Let's watch as they share some of their experiences, stories, and photos with us.
Good morning, Tremper High School. This is Mr. Thomas, and I've been asked to speak with you a little bit about my service in the military here as we celebrate Veterans Day. One of the big questions I got asked was, when did I join the military and why? I enlisted in the Wisconsin Army National Guard on January 15th, 1992. I decided that one of the things I wanted to do with my life at the time was to enlist, and the primary reason why I did was I was running out of money for college. I'd already had my degree from Marquette University, and I was going back to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee to get my teacher's license in social studies, and I needed some extra money to keep in school. And I read an article in the campus newspaper that talked about the National Guard would give you 50% tuition reimbursement, and I thought, well, that's a pretty good deal. It was something that I always thought about doing, but at the time hadn't done it yet. So called up a recruiter, and long story short, on January 15th, 1992, I raised my right hand at the military entry processing station in Milwaukee. Me and my ponytail went down there and raised my right hand after I got through all the checks and medical evaluations, and I enlisted in the Wisconsin Army National Guard. The next day, I went and got a haircut. So the long hair has been gone long since then. I joined the Wisconsin Army National Guard for a number of different reasons. I didn't want to go active duty at the time period. Going 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the summer was a pretty good thing. I had enlisted as a 13 Bravo, that's a cannoneer. I spent almost 15 years of my 25-year career blowing stuff up, big cannons and things like that. I spent 24 years, 7 months and 17 days enlisted in the Wisconsin Army National Guard and retired on September 1st, 2016 as a first sergeant. Got asked as well if I served in any military conflicts. Yes, I got 2 trips to Operation Iraqi Freedom. I went in 2005 to 2006 with one particular unit. My squad of 8 soldiers and I were sent to help guard a special forces base in a city south of Baghdad called Al-Hilla. Before that, we spent 3 months in Kuwait doing convoy clearance and route security on the various highways around Kuwait for soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines going on leave. Once that tour was finished and I came home a couple of years later, 2009 to 2010, I got told I'm going back with a different unit, and I went as that unit's first sergeant. Our mission was to operate one of the facilities in the theater internment facility, which was a prison for the Iraqis who had done bad things against the coalition forces. As the first sergeant, I guess I was kind of like the assistant warden, and our commander was the warden of our particular compound within the prison. That was quite an interesting change of pace for everything I'd ever been trained in the military to do. Security is one thing, but providing it for prisoners, all their life needs, food and safety and whatnot was very much different from what I had trained as either a cannoneer or an automated logistics specialist. Funny story is, after 9 years of doing that, I still didn't know what that job was all about. Got asked if I had a memorable experience on either of my deployments. The most memorable experience I have was July 6, 2006. Our base got mortared by Iraqi insurgents, and luckily they were bad shots. They didn't come anywhere close to hitting us, but it was very memorable, and the thing I remember most about it was my training all going into effect. I remember the events more or less. A lot of it's kind of a blurry, fuzzy kind of activity, but everything that we got trained to do, we reacted and we took care of business, and I got to keep everybody safe, which was my ultimate goal on both of my deployments, was to make sure that all my soldiers came home safe without any kind of scratches and whatnot. And luckily for me, that happened. How did my service affect my life? Well, now the only thing that I've done longer than serve in the military is be a teacher. And I wouldn't be a teacher today here at Tremper High School if I hadn't served in the military. Like I said, my service started just trying to pay for school, and after my first 6-year enlistment, I realized this is something that I want to continue doing. I learned a lot of different skills in the military. I learned a lot about leadership. I learned what it meant to take care of people. I learned how to deal with all different kinds of individuals. Lots of different skills that have helped me in my teaching career, and my teaching career also helped with a lot of things that I dealt with in my time in the military. It affected me mostly positively. I wouldn't have stuck around for almost 25 years if it didn't. There are some negative things behind it. Being gone from home was not always all that fun. It took a toll on my wife and my kids, but they've been supportive, and they were supportive through all my time, and a lot of things that made them better in their lives came as a result of that as well. So that's a little bit about my military service. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy your freedom, thank a vet. And if you enjoy learning in a free country, thank a vet who's a teacher.
Charmaine Stevenson Lewis joined the U.S. Army Reserves in December 1994 in the middle of her senior year of high school. She began monthly drills with the 719th Medical Unit in February at Fort Sheridan, Illinois. Mrs. Lewis was very proud to have taken her turn to serve our country. She met amazing people and had great experiences. Charmaine Stevenson Lewis was honorably discharged from the United States Army Reserves in 2002.
Hi, my name is Jamie Loomis. I am the Scheduling Secretary in Student Services. I served in the United States Navy for 4 years, from 1989 to 1993, which was Desert Storm #1. I was in Naval Intelligence, which means that I would not deploy into areas of hazard, and females did not deploy in that time range anyway. But I did know a lot about what was going on with the conflict. It was very exciting. I was an early graduate from high school. I graduated in January. I was from a small town. I had a really good job, but I wanted to travel. And the job didn't, give me enough money to be able to travel like I wanted to. So I took a trip down to see the Navy recruiter. And I also looked at the Air Force. But what I liked best about the Navy was they would allow me to choose what I wanted to do for a job, and they would guarantee that job. And I wanted to know what I was signing paperwork for and what I was committing to, which was Naval Intelligence. So my first duty station, I chose to go overseas, and I went to Scotland. That duty station is no longer open. It closed a few years after I left. But I got there alive and well, never flown on a plane before. My sponsors were there to meet me. Everything was great. My biggest fear was, put to rest, except I didn't have any luggage. So I spent the next 3 days wearing other people's clothes because they couldn't find my luggage. And then it finally showed up, and I didn't die. I thought I might, but it didn't. So that was great. Being that far away, not having cell phones and iPads and things like that, we wrote a lot of letters by hand, and we bought cool paper to write it on, and things of that nature. It was great to go to the post office to get the mail out of your box. I would purchase prepaid phone cards, which are also a thing of the past, and they were in British pounds. So you would buy them, and there was a British phone in the barracks. You could dial into it and talk with that phone card. But if you didn't pay attention to the beeps in the background, when your money ran out, you got cut off. So my family got used to being cut off at random and not being alarmed by that. Military friends, best people I will ever know in my life. I have 2 sets of military friends. I have mine from when I served, and then I also married a military man who did 21 years in the Navy. And we have friends on both sides, and we are still very close to all of our friends. It's a friendship, almost like family, that you will never be able to find anywhere else. You will be in touch forever, and Facebook is an amazing thing for that. It helps us all stay connected and follow each other through our duty stations, and our kids, a lot of our kids are getting ready to graduate now. So it's kind of funny to see how we were in our 20s and now we have kids that are graduating from high school. What else? I would do it all over again in a million years. I think everyone should do at least one tour in the military. I think it teaches you a lot. It teaches you not about yourself. You are only one part of 88 other recruits in this world, and you have to figure out how to make that work. And you learn to love those people, and you will when you join the military. We've had a wonderful life. We've been to Scotland, Maryland, Florida, California, let's see, the outback of Australia. If you want to look it up, it's called Alice Springs, and they are predicting that they will run out of water in about 10 or 15 years. We lived there with the tribal people, Aboriginals. It was very fun, a lot of animals. Italy was probably my favorite. They had amazing food. That's very proud to have served, very proud of my husband. I'm very proud of everyone else that served and the great country that we live in.
Alan J. Skripski began his service in the U.S. Navy in 1979. He was in command and control of major weapons systems like Tomahawk and Harpoon cruise missiles, used cutting-edge technology in robotics, computer control, radar and sonar sensors, and used ARPANET, the starts of the modern internet, to uplink mid-course data-guided missiles. Mr. Skripski circumnavigated the globe 2.5 times. He was part of Cold War operations, the 1987 strike against Libya for the West Berlin bombings, and in 1990, his unit was the first on scene in the Red Sea and eventually Persian Gulf for Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Alan J. Skripski retired from service from the United States Navy in 2002.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Thompson, the school social worker at Tremper, and I'm going to talk to you about my experience in being a veteran of the United States Air Force. I joined the Air National Guard in 2000. I joined because of the core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. In joining the Air National Guard, I was a freshman in college. And so, like most college students, being able to look for finances, being able to look for scholarships, everything is not always covered. And so for me, that was a huge benefit to be able to receive a GI Bill, to be able to also receive a tuition reimbursement. And then for my specific job, which was services, I also received a bonus. In 2001, during 9/11, I, like most others, looked on the TV screen in horror and awe. In 2001, during 9/11, I looked as a civilian. I'd never looked at the first time as a military person. And so for me, I had no idea about being activated for a war. I joined the military thinking that, again, I was going to be paying for an opportunity to go to college. I never thought in a million years that I would be activated to be going to war. During the time that I was in Doha, Qatar, I was with my best friend and her cousin, someone who I joined the military with. And so during that time, a lot of a job included being fitness, and then also being able to provide something for our military personnel to eat, and then also working towards morale. So ensuring that those that were there were able to keep good spirits and a positive attitude. In 2006, I was honorably discharged from the United States Air Force. My experience in the military has been one that has garnered a lot of strength, a lot of tenacity, and allowed me to be brave in so many other areas of my life. This is an experience that I can never forget. It's one that I'll never regret, and it's one that, again, shapes me for who I am today. Being a veteran of the United States Air Force is one that I'm very proud of.
Cassandra Villalobos Rodriguez enlisted with the United States Army when she was a junior in high school. Upon her early graduation from Harborside Academy in Kenosha, Cassandra was in active duty at just 17 years old. Her first military occupation specialty was a gunner, but after 4 years was reclassified to human resources. Cassandra proudly served on active duty for 6 years and was stationed in Germany, South Carolina, Colorado, and Texas. She has been on 2 rotational deployments in South Korea and Romania. Her service included 1 combat deployment in Kuwait. A memory that stands out for Sergeant Villalobos happened at basic training. She was being yelled at by her drill sergeant for being too quiet and had to do push-ups until she could adequately explain why she was so reserved. Sergeant Cassandra Villalobos was honorably discharged from the United States Army in January 2018.
Hi, my name is Bob Merritt. I am the IT technician here at Tremper High School, and tell you a little bit about my military history. I originally joined the Navy in September 5th, 1984, and I wanted to join it to serve my country, and honestly I didn't have a plan coming out of high school. I was posted to many duty assignments, and my first tour of duty that I actually had to do was in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. I was assigned as a combat medic with the 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines. It was pretty intense getting overseas for the first time as a younger kid, and didn't know what to expect. It was pretty intimidating taking live gunshot fire. During that time, I received multiple awards, and mostly the unit. I think the guys were the ones that earned them more so, but I was the one who was the leader at the time. They included a Navy Combat Ribbon, Navy Achievement Medal, Fleet Marine Force Service Medal, Kuwait Liberation, Saudi Arabia Liberation. I retired 20 years later, September 20th, 2004, and when I retired, it was kind of neat because I didn't have a plan coming out of the military either. So I got to play a lot of video games and everything, and I thought I was going to be retired. That wasn't the case. So I went to work about a month later. People ask all the time, how was the food and everything like that in the military? It's actually pretty good. Think of the school cafeteria, but the next level up from that. In the field, we would eat MREs and things like that, but it was pretty good stuff. The food was always pretty good in the military. How did it affect my life overall? I think it made me who I am today and gave me sense of purpose and character. And in work, it drives my work and tempo and just being a good leader and a good listener. That's my story.